welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard, streaming live almost daily. This may seem like a bit of a bombastic statement, but it is actually pretty true. The root cause, there's really only one root cause to finding the solutions to all our problems. That's what we'll talk about in today's show. Grab a coffee. I'm going to start the word my 5-minute timer. Hold on here. There we go. 5-minute timer on. Grab a coffee, get comfortable, and we'll see you. Hey Gary, how you doing? We've passed 10 years actually of our friendship. I think it was 2011. I was down in Austin. Thanks for tuning in. Hey everyone, how you doing? So let me adjust this. It's been over a week since I've done a show. Any of you that have, so we broadcast, I broadcast on Facebook, simulcast on YouTube, Twitch, now I don't even have to do that. The show and upload it to Spotify, and Spotify Ask the Wizard Coach. You can find me as well. and listen to the audio, although they actually include video depending on the device that you're using. Being my sister Shauna and I, our mother passed away a week ago yesterday. So it's been a time for us. During that time, and not just because of that, I felt disconnected, and I don't know if I even realized it, but it really fits in with the topic of the show today. So what was I disconnected from? When I started down this path 18 years ago now, probably over 18 years ago, I was in quite a miserable physical situation and circumstance, feeling probably powerless and desperate, all sorts of words, no freedom. And then I had a taste of a healing in my back, another story for another time. And then I heard about this meditation thing. And so I went out and crawled underneath this weeping willow tree in the backyard at night, and I would practice this meditation. I had no clue what I was doing, but it was like there was something out there. There was something out there beneath, if you will, this physicality that's so thin and etherical in so many ways. And I had that desire. I didn't even know what I was desiring for. I just had the desire. And then the universe, source, pick your label, met that desire with that feeling of connectedness. It's like you start to become aware of reality in many ways, or another way you could say it, of the entirety of our reality, which is the physical real. Yes, of course it's real, but it's not the only thing that's real. There is that non-physical is the word I use for it, that's just as real as this desk that I have right here. As a matter of fact, that's the raw materials that your physical world is created from. And there's a source of energy, again, call it universe, God, Earl for that matter, that is a source of the energy that creates the physical. And that's what found me way back in the summer of 2004, sitting underneath that weeping willow tree, was that feeling of connectedness. What was I connected to? Not just so much the non-physical, but to that source, that resource, that root cause to everything that we experience in our life experience. And when you immerse yourself or allow yourself to be immersed in that flow, and flow is a very accurate word for it, like a river. I mean, it's an analogy that's been used a lot, but sort of surrendering yourself to that river, to that stream that you can't hold on to, you just let it carry you. That's when you start to feel secure. You start to feel connected. You start to feel grounded. You start to feel even peaceful. Now, that doesn't mean you don't feel or experience all those other things that aren't so fun. The problems, quote unquote, the challenges, the emotional experiences that really, really suck, the ones that hurt, the ones that are just miserable. But here's the difference. The difference is before they were controlling me internally, right? That feeling of being controlled begins internally and then gets manifested out externally. That was really good. The experience of being controlled takes place internally in our thoughts and in our emotions. And then that manifests itself out into the physical. So where that feeling of being controlled, being a victim, doesn't happen out here, it happens in here, and then we see it reflected out here. Is what I come back to over and over and over again. I'm sure I did shows about this. Where you win the war is internally, not externally. You still may fight battles externally, but where you win the war is in here. And so I rediscovered that connectedness, that security, that reassurance, despite what was going on out here, and even despite what I was feeling internally. You see, I still felt everything, but now instead of it controlling me, I was managing it. And that connectedness, that source, that's where the path through, that's where the solutions come from. You see, when we forget that, or when we lose our awareness of that flow, because the flow never goes away, it's just a matter of the river, right? We just get out of the river sort of thing, or hold on to a big ass rock in it. And then we try and solve whatever the, again, problem is externally and or internally without having that connectedness. We're really coming from a very powerless and controlled position. So those internal emotional opponents, call it what you will, panic, fear, anxiety, hopelessness, all those kind of things. We're trying to sort of fight those, but we're fighting them not from a position of power. And it's really, really deceptively easy to be distracted into thinking that in order to get connected again and to feel that peacefulness, reassurance, et cetera, again, we need to fight these opponents first. When the truth is the exact opposite. Our number one focus is to do whatever we need to do. Many of you that are listening to this have already established spiritual practices, whatever that looked like for you. What we need to do is focus in on getting back connected to that flow, getting back into the river. Because the river is where the solutions, the real solutions, come from to these opponents that we're trying to fight. So we're trying to fight these opponents, but the solutions, the strategies to fight them, I know I'm using quite strong terms, but that's what it feels like, come from the river, from the feeling of connectedness. So if you want to actually do something over here, you got to go back and get back to the damn river to get the connectedness. So then the strategies will present themselves on maneuvering your way straight through these things. Because so often we don't have to vanquish them. We actually maneuver our way through them. But you see, what they want to do is take all our attention and have us focus it on them, have us focus on the problems, have us focus on the challenges, have us focus on there's no way I'll get through this, and have the focus on and on and on and on. Because as long as you're focusing on them, you're not focusing on your relationship to this flow, this connectedness. And then you're screwed. Or if you do kind of feel like you're winning, it's very temporary and it's partial. And then you're back under again. Which is why the solution to whatever challenge or problem that you're in, the solution isn't getting connected again, but getting connected again is where you're going to find the solution. I'm going to say that twice, and I'll close with that because that's really good. The solution is not in getting connected again, getting back to your spiritual practice, all that kind of stuff, right? That's not the solution, but that's where the solution will come from. And I think that's so very valuable. You get connected to the flow again. Now you start to be able to manage all these things. They still may feel kind of shitty, but they're not going to feel as bad because now you won't feel controlled by them. And then that's where the solutions come to maneuver straight through them. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Share. We're all in this together. See you on the web.